All right, Auto Club in Xfinity. So I'm going 16 to 1 plus 257. That's just what I run in the Xfinity cars at the big tracks. Don't know the line yet. We're gonna figure that out together. Gonna try the top. So top of 1 and 2, top of 3 and 4 on my first lap, and then top of 1 and 2, and then late apex bottom 3 and 4 on the second lap. Hot track, I'm guessing top works better. Highly doubt that the bottom works in 1 and 2. We'll give it a shot on like a third lap, but I highly doubt it's even close. So our goal here in turn 1 and 2 is to enter the corner and not have the car slide up towards the wall. Optimally, we do want a little bit of slide up so that we get that kind of little tiny diamond shape, but I just want to figure out how much grip I have up here. So I'm not right by the wall yet, but I think I could suss out about how much grip there was. It was very loose, it wasn't tight. I tend to like a tight car up on top better than a loose car. You want to be able to jump that throttle and have the car rotate, not slide up the track. Let's see what we can do with the full speed into turn 1. See if I can get the car not to slide up, or if I do it in like a controlled way. Interestingly, it wasn't that much better than my first lap. Okay, let's go for the high-low now. That looks to be better. Yes. That is better.
That was your fastest lap of the day.
We're going to be a little bit down on speed, but let's try one more up here, see if we can push the limits up here. Could a little bit. I'm getting tight now. And I'm going to try one more. I know my tires are kind of cooked, but I am going to try bottom of 1 and 2 in this upcoming lap. I am pretty confident in that high to low movement in 3 and 4. It usually is faster, but sometimes the track is just so hot you can only run the top to maintain the momentum. You have to slow down too much to get into 3 and 4. But let's see if we can get the same effect in 1 and 2. We'll probably be like a 10th off in terms of just pure tires, but yeah, see how we don't get that same like 2/10 advantage going to the bottom here, and then coming off the corner we just lose multiple tenths. And it's just because of how the track is shaped. So it's going to be top of 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4. Let's go take a look at it. My bottom 3 and 4, I was pushing hard. It wasn't exactly the cleanest that you could get it. Okay. So 1 and 2, very interesting corner. So I need to get my car pitched down, but just enough to where I can get my lefts on this seam right here. And I'm using just a tiny bit of brake. I don't think the brake ended up doing anything, but in my head I'm using a little bit of brake to help my pitch into the corner. And then I'm just feeling out my car, trying to feed it bits and bits of throttle to see how it responds. Once you get enough reps here, you can maybe lab it out to where you got an exact point. But I think it's a better fundamental, especially with changing track temperatures, to just enter a corner and add little bits of throttle and feel out what's causing it to get tight or loose, and then what it can handle without losing the balance. It doesn't matter too much how close you are to the wall. If my lefts... I'm splitting the seam a little bit, like I'm putting my lefts just a little bit below the seam at times. That helps me rotate just a little bit. But in a perfect world, you don't need to do that. In fact, it probably scrubs a little bit of speed, but like really minute amounts. So my only advice is don't drive straight into the corner. Make sure that you have a pitch before you're in the corner. And then diligent in how much throttle you're feeding the car, and really take note of what it's able to handle and what it isn't able to handle. All right, entry into turn 3 right here. Gonna enter about, I'm aiming for this seam right here to start out with. So I landed on this seam and then just continue to stay off the throttle until it points all the way down. So enter just as if you're gonna run the middle seam, but then stay off throttle until your nose is pointed to the white, and then throttle through the white. I think I jumped throttle a little bit early, or maybe I didn't get aggressive on my steering wheel enough to get it pointed all the way to the white. And I think I ended up getting a little bit loose because I was picking up my throttle when I was in between seams or in between lanes. But if you can get a little bit more aggressive of a nose down to the white and then just throttle all the way through it, you should be able to get a pretty straightforward drive up off the corner. I had a really loose moment, but you can easily avoid that if you keep your car under you the entire time. So again, just aim for the middle, keep letting the car point, be patient. The moment that you get that straight shot, just aggressive throttle through it. And if it's qualifying, just freaking hold on to it. All right, long run. Long run's a little bit more of the same. I think you can run the bottom 1 and 2 on long run, but the problem with running like a super duper tire save line is you will lose a lot of track position, and that's only gonna come back to you if it goes green. And you can't always bank on something going green. So you always have to find some sort of in-between. That works in both situations. Luckily for 3 and 4, I think that the best line is this late apex line, and it's also good on tires as long as you aren't forcing the car too much. And it's going to be a very good exercise in not scrubbing your right rear, sliding your right rear around. So we're going to focus on really smooth throttling. I do go to the bottom of 1 and 2 for long run. Same kind of idea. Stays a lot more tight here. You can see it loses a ton of time to running the top, so if you have to run the top, especially in like a restart scenario, go for it. But smooth on the throttle. Just keeping that car under you the entire time with no bad scrubbing on the right rear. Let's try a really weird line where we go really shallow into the corner and then just roll this white. I mean, that was the same speed as our last one, and it definitely saved a lot more tires. Interesting. So I think if you're gonna go full tire saving, in which like you want to save as little tires as possible while also not being too crazy off on lap times, this like low line where you enter really shallow on the white line here and then just gas up off the 2, this could potentially be really good as long as I don't screw up like that. I think I could have driven a lot deeper into it too. I'm gonna do one more lap on the bottoms, and then we're gonna run a top lap and compare how much faster it is. Because that was kind of a crappy lap because I messed up. So we'll drive a little bit harder into one. Maybe we'll, instead of going on the bottom lane, we'll go up like 1 lane here. And then just brake and go right on the white. Straight up off the bottom. Not hitting the wall. And then we'll do the more aesthetically pleasing late apex here, but still with the early entry. And then throttling through the bottom. That's more like what I want that lap time to be. So now let's compare that to running the top. I'm guessing the top is still going to be about 0.2 faster. I could be wrong though. Might be only 1/10 faster. That's not even that much better, guys. That's a good 10. Oh, but then this is the best line anyways. So really, running the top of 1 and 2 is only a 10th faster than running that really low line. I'm gonna do one more lap here. I know we're getting a little late in the video. I'm gonna do one more time, just absolutely bottom feeding, okay? I mean, I think I'd take that. I think I would take that for tire saving. Especially if there's no pressure behind you. If there's pressure behind you, sure, do what you gotta do. I think I would take that bottom line if I was all by myself trying to manage tires. Because it works the right front, whereas the late apex line and the wall both work the right rear a lot. We might see that my car is actually pretty evenly worn because both corners work a different tire. Yeah, right front 97, right rear 96. Yeah, I mean, I think that this can even out your tires. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.